He said it real calm. "We're just not a good fit for you anymore, Elijah." Like he was helping me out. Like the decision to throw me out of Belmere Academy, the most prestigious prep school in the county, was some mutual agreement. I was 14, sitting across from Dean Morgan's big mahogany desk. He had a leather pen holder, a golden globe, and a picture of his golden retriever on the bookshelf behind him. I didn't even look him in the eye, just stared at the edge of his sleeve and said, "Because I missed algebra twice?" He gave a soft laugh. "It's not just about attendance, son. It's about culture, about standards. Your mother hasn't returned our financial aid reassessment forms. Your cafeteria account's been flagged 5 times this semester. And frankly, you seem unhappy here." What he meant was, we can't afford to babysit broke kids. I nodded. I didn't cry. I stood up, shook his hand, like my mother taught me, and walked out. That was the last time I stood in that hallway. The one with the polished wood and silent trophies. The one where kids wore jackets that cost more than our rent. I took the bus home with a trash bag of books in my lap. When I walked in the door, my mom was sitting on the floor surrounded by job listings. She looked up at me, eyes tired, and said, "They did it, didn't they?" Belmere was the kind of school that didn't expel you. It just made sure you couldn't stay. Tuition was $42,000 a year. We were on scholarship, 90% covered, the rest patched together through fundraisers, payment plans, and pride swallowing. I was one of 4 black kids in my grade, and the only one on full aid. Every time we couldn't afford a blazer, they wrote a dress code warning. Every time we missed a payment, they flagged our file. When I brought PB&J instead of buying lunch, teachers asked if I was fasting for religious reasons. The shame wasn't loud, it was quiet, polished, sanitized, but it built up like rust, and eventually they used it as a reason to throw me away. Public school was a different universe. Metal detectors, fewer books, more noise. But I liked it. Teachers didn't act like they were better than me. I met people who'd been through worse than I had, and still smiled. I started working after school. Grocery bags, night shifts at a diner, fixing up bikes on weekends. I studied when I could, applied to every scholarship that crossed my screen, got into a community college, then transferred, then got into Georgia Tech. While the Belmere kids were doing semester abroad in Florence, I was taking night courses and working the help desk at an internet cafe. But I learned how things work, learned how systems fail people like us, learned code, UI, databases. Then I learned something bigger. The school system was broken, not just underfunded, broken by design. So I decided to build something. I launched my first app at 22, a homework tracker for underfunded schools. Free, ad-supported, not pretty, but functional. By 24, I built a full LMS platform, lean, mobile-first, made for schools that didn't have IT departments. By 26, we had 400 districts on it. By 27, I got seed money. Not charity, real investment. I gave talks, I showed up in Forbes. People called me visionary, but I never forgot the kid who got sent home with a trash bag and a fake smile from a dean who thought I didn't belong. At 29, I got an email from a realtor. Private educational facility in Westlake listed for strategic acquisition, 11-acre campus, historic value, flexible zoning. I clicked the link. Belmere Academy. Enrollment had dropped. The board was in debt. They were trying to quietly sell to a church group. I called the number, asked the price, didn't blink, bought the property, and when the ink dried, I requested a list of former board members. Dean Morgan was still on it. The first time I stepped back onto Belmere's campus, the grass still looked manicured, but the silence had changed. It wasn't noble anymore. It was hollow. The banners were faded, the doors needed oil, and the building itself, once untouchable, felt tired. I walked into the main hall in sneakers and a hoodie, and the new office assistant looked up like I was delivery. "Can I help you?" she asked. I smiled. "I own the place." I kept the news quiet at first, let the staff hear it through official channels. No PR stunt, no headlines, just transition. I called for a meeting with the board. Most of them looked confused. A few were openly hostile. "What are your intentions with the institution?" Morgan asked. He still wore the same tie knot, still said institution like it was holy. I said, "I'm here to make sure what happened to me never happens again." A few flinched, One board member muttered, "You'll tear the legacy apart." I nodded. Exactly. Phase 1. Dissolve the board. Replace it with a mixed council of teachers, parents, students, and local educators. Phase 2. Cancel all tuition. Convert Belmere into a nonprofit charter academy funded by my company's foundation. Phase 3. Open 60% of new enrollment to families under the poverty line. Provide free laptops, 2 meals a day, mental health care, dress code, flexible, curriculum, future-focused, tech, finance, media, ethics. They called it radical. I called it overdue. Some staff quit, others stayed and cried. One janitor hugged me and whispered, "My daughter applied 5 times. They never called. Thank you." I walked through every classroom, talked to every kid, every teacher. I asked, "What do you need to learn better?" The answers weren't about smartboards or uniforms. They said, "We need time, quiet, people who believe we're worth it." I gave them all that, and more. 6 months later, enrollment doubled. By the end of year 1, test scores were up 40%, college admissions up 60%. But the best metric? Students smiling when they walked through the door. No tension, no shame, no one hiding lunch bags. Then one day, an email came from Morgan, requesting a meeting, personal. I agreed. We sat in the same room, the one where he'd told me I didn't belong. This time I was in his chair. He looked older, grayer, less polished. He said, "I was wrong about you." I didn't say anything. He said, "If I'd known..." I stopped him. "You knew. You just didn't care." He nodded. "I want to help," he said. "Volunteer. Offer what I can." I looked him in the eye. "We're not a good fit for you anymore." I left that meeting calm. No anger, no gloating. Because I'd already won. Not with power, with presence, with rebuilding something better. My mom visited the school a month later. She walked the halls, sat in the cafeteria, talked to kids. A girl told her, "This place saved me." My mom just smiled and said, "My son built it." Today, Belmere is called Horizon Academy, and every year on the first day of school, I stand at the door and greet every kid by name. No one gets flagged for late payments. No one gets sent home with silence. They get welcomed, challenged, seen. And when I tell them my story, I don't say, "I got revenge." I say, "I got even, and then I went farther." Thank you for watching. If you want to get more that kind of stories, press like and check out our channel.